We are the ones standing between the integrity of the criminal justice system. If the courthouse wasn't there and it wasn't safe and it couldn't operate, where would the trooper bring the case?
Yeah.
Where would the municipal police officer bring the case?
Right.
Where would governance occur? It's got to have a safe place.
It does.
I take that I'm honored to have that duty to ensure that law enforcement can be done. And I'm honored to push in where I can and help out where I can.
Yep.
And honor is a big part of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, because again, we are it. That's our last place of justice, is in that courtroom, you know, and we have that great responsibility, if you will, to protect the court and the judges and all the staff there.
Even when it's a cop that's arrested, or a deputy,
Sure,
or a federal agent.
We had that, yes.
And even when it's a person that murders a cop.
Sure.
We have to have the integrity, right? We have to ensure that the process works, because that's what we have. That's what we have in society. We agree on that.
Well, that's a big part of the role that we have too. Not only the courts and the courthouses protecting, keeping the judges safe, but you mentioned the extraditions.
Right.
You know, when I was with the state police, I'd done some of my own extraditions, but local departments sometimes don't have the resources to do that stuff.
Absolutely.
We have a warrants unit that has a list of warrants, a substantial list of warrants, that we go out and serve every day.
Yeah.
And so that takes some of the not responsibilities, but some of the work, some of the volume of work off those departments that would otherwise have to do that on their own. We produce their defendants in court for them,
right,
so that they don't have to go to the jail, pick up their defendant, bring them to the courthouse for central court. We kind of get them all together because we're a centralized agency,
Yes,
with county jurisdiction.
Safely.
Safely.
Yeah,
This is our
and
bread and butter, right? We
That
know what
is,
we're
and
doing.
that is one of our best duties ever,
Yeah.
is the transportation of prisoners.
Sure.
No matter where, if it's local, state, or federal facilities, that is the one thing that the sheriff in this country is well known for.
Yeah.
And that is the safe, transportation of prisoners.
Which-
And we do it well.
We just recently had a high-profile case happen here, and dealing with that individual, after a slight outburst, he and I had a one-on-one, heart-to-heart, and I said, "Listen, this is not how this is going to work.
Yeah.
But here's what I will promise you. My job is to do this job with safety to everybody, including you, and to do it respectfully. And I will give you that. I'm asking you to consider the same back, and what you just did wasn't it." So we have that opportunity to interact with somebody and get their mind right, so to speak. But that point was, whether we like whatever that person did, and I even said that to him, I don't care what you're accused of. I'm not here to try to judge you. I'm here to keep you safe and to make your appearance. Well, whether morally I agree with anything that was done, that's completely set aside for the fact that my duty at this point is to keep you safe, to keep the attorney safe, to keep every other, and to call them a customer, but any other person or customer that comes in that building safe. And I stress that when we hire new deputies, and listen, nobody likes to be stuck at the door. Nobody.
Yeah.
I'm that weird goof that once in a while I like to do the door just because. I like to interact sometimes. But I tell them, while you get there, and most younger deputies or even seasoned deputies are like, "Oh, I'm on the door again." And you try to explain to them, "Listen, do you know how important that role is?" Yeah. Twofold. You're the first line of defense coming in that door,
Yep,
of stopping whatever threat would come through the door before it got in here. Secondly, and even more importantly, is most people coming into the courthouse, on average, aren't there for a good thing.
No.
yeah.
No.
And I say that maybe not, but for them, this day is not good for them. And so they're already ramped up. And so coming through, you have that opportunity to de-escalate them and bring that down, and work your customer service at the door and saying, look, and get them where they need to be and have them calm, not escalate it.
Yeah.
And I tell the deputies that many times, listen, your opportunity now with that interaction could make the difference of whether we have to deal with them or maybe even go hands-on with them later on, just by how you greeted them or passed them through this checkpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are that gatekeeper.
Absolutely.
The biggest segment that every sheriff's office does is civil. There's a ton of power and authority in the civil code and the civil laws, and
Sure.
every sheriff's office serves protection orders, and every sheriff's office serves writs, civil process, what we call civil process, and every sheriff's office serves and sells property. We're real estate agents in some ways too.
Yes.
My revenue, I have a revenue stream. People think that that's odd, but it's in the code. And I also value that part of my job because it takes properties that otherwise would bring property value down, and there's a legal due process system set up, and I get to oversee that enforcement. And there's a lot of power and authority there. And when I say that, I say it because it's a dangerous and it's a scary time for the person going through it too. And there should be a sheriff, a person responsible to the people to ensure that it's done fairly. And I take that role very serious. We sold over the last 3 years about $14 million in Franklin County in real estate. Those people those are lives, those are citizens, those are community members, those are friends. And I don't like that part of the job, but that's one of the biggest parts of our job. And the reason the courts and the legal system trust us with that is because of everything we just talked about. It embodies that responsibility is entrusted to us, and I take that seriously too.
Yeah, those are difficult and stressful times
Absolutely.
for those people going through those things. And I think to try to accomplish that without a sheriff or a sheriff's deputy managing that, it's a recipe for disaster.
So 3 municipal police officers up here, 1 state trooper. You go to a civil issue. It's a civil issue.
Yeah.
What do you say?
For us, that could be a 4-hour process. And the thing that we're actually accomplishing is, again, public safety. Nobody's getting arrested. We're just assuring a crime doesn't get committed. We're giving them time. We're holding space. We're teaching them and telling them things that this is what this means.
The process.
This is the long-term goal. This is the process. So for us, there are legal things we can do out of that. But for us, it's just that's our natural realm. And we've got to be good at that. Like most sheriffs across the nation, that's just a part of their job. A domestic that's happening right now turns into a protection order service a little bit later. The only problem is it's not a crime at that point, right? It's a civil matter.
Sure.
So I really truly believe, and I agree with all of us, I think, when we would say, I think maybe you would agree with me, that that's probably one of the biggest duties that we do that people don't understand. And they don't get maybe what we're doing when we're there.
And I think one of the biggest things that you can say of a difference or a uniqueness from when we worked other law enforcement entities to now is that we do now handle the civil side, where before you could say, oh, that's civil, it's not me.
Call the sheriff.
Call the sheriff.
We
call the
are
sheriff.
now it.
Yeah.
And so now that comes into it, and we have to deal with that.
When I hear Johnny won't let Jenny in the house, and there's a PFA, that's a civil matter, I hear, well, we could avoid a crime if we get involved. And then the laws now spell out for that, right? They specify that we should be getting involved. And so I cherish that part of my duty as well, although it's not fun.
No,
it's the most complicated thing we teach at the academy.
It is.
It is, and part of teaching that is we teach our deputies, whether it's at the academy or in-house, customer respect.
Yeah.
Which is essentially
Customer
that
service.
is it's customer
Community
service.
service,
Customer respect, de-escalation. What is our best means of navigating through this on a very difficult or stressful situation? And that is a unique thing that we do on a daily basis. That's sometimes very risky. And how many times across the nation have you heard where a sheriff or deputies have been shot and killed or injured and assaulted because they were serving as simple as a credit card dispute, the PFAs, the evictions, going to serve a simple paper, which a lot of people don't see the risk in that, but trying to recognize and educate people of how risky it really is, even down to as simple as a civil piece of paper, how from that person when you address them, and that may just trigger them.
They think that you coming there to serve that paper are the one responsible for this whole thing.
Right.
Typically, they're the ones responsible for it, but they're gonna vent to you. They're gonna act out on you. So officer safety underlies that whole issue, I think. Right?
If I have a search warrant and a crime's been committed, I plan, I prepare, train, I'm ready to go for that. For an eviction, it's got to be done immediately. There's a limited amount of time. There's no criminal act. And we've got to go do this safely. And that's where I think the complicated nature comes in. And it's a duty that sheriffs are well fit for. And we've kind of found a niche for us, right? And we've gotten good at it. We've gotten good at teaching it. And we've gotten very good at doing it across the Commonwealth.
During the time frame in your career of doing this, what what have you seen, or what progressions, or what areas do you see that maybe have changed or need to change?
Staffing, staffing's really been tough. When I started there, it wasn't that tough. It was actually, a lot of people were surprised I got in. The staffing's got tough. Obviously, it's real. I mean, you got to come in from go to the police academy and come in and do a waiver class, or if we hire you new off the street, we have up to a year to have you in our academy as Act 2 in State College. And we do firearms. I'm a firearms instructor. We have some other ones that we can actually train you within that year, get you in our academy, and then send you there. But then going to our academy, it's 19 weeks. I mean, and it's real. I mean, you got to go up there and run a mile and a half and do push-ups and sit-ups and qualify and do the book work. But you're there, you go up Sunday night, you're back home Friday, and you do that for 19 weeks straight and to get certified.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment,
Yeah.
correct.
So have you seen progress from, when you said before, when you come in as a young deputy coming into it to where you are now, the sheriff? Have you seen where it has evolved into a more professional office, more duties, busier workplace?
Oh, it's much busier. I mean, when I first started, more or less, you did the courthouse stuff and transported inmates in your civil process. Now we try to do more with warrants. The transports have expanded a lot more, like I said, in the flights, going to different places. Obviously, that's a lot work with your DA office, that they want this person back from Des Moines, Iowa, I was at earlier, Georgia. West Palm Beach was really nice, I'm not going to get to West Palm Beach when I'm paying for it in my salary, but and now local, I mean, it just happened, today's Friday, so it might have been this week or last week. We're getting a lot around our courthouse, is the biggest borough. I mean, they get a serious call. Bam, can you get me a sheriff's unit down? Because they know some of us around, and a lot of times it is myself, my chief, or lieutenant at least are around, or if we can pull people from court or something because of the seriousness. So we're backing up police a lot. In my career, Somerset County is where Flight 93 happened, and I was working when that happened. So the plane crash, we had security there for a couple years. It actually helped the sheriff's department a little bit because the feds threw a little money our way for the security, so it actually changed our uniforms from the old brown. Traditional was probably more sheriff in the brown uniforms, and I wore the brown uniforms to go to the blue or, that way. So with Flight 93 was big. Just earlier this year, anniversary, September 11th. Obviously, election year. Within 45 minutes at the local fire hall, Shanksville Fire Hall, we had our current president, our past president, and the vice president there. Actually, the president and the vice president were in, him and her, and 45 minutes later, obviously our president that's getting sworn in was in that building. So, I mean, the dignitaries we saw, our governor was there. That way, I saw the Bushes throughout my career. The Bushes, I can remember them. Rendell was there. The different governors in our state. So that's always something. In a smaller county like ours, with Flight 93, we had the trap miners, the 9 for 9. That all of them were brought out of the ground successfully alive. So we got to see a lot that way too.
Sure, and I think to the point of that, a lot of things that happen throughout the Commonwealth, and a lot of it in the political world or of tragedy, a lot of that comes back to us for resources for us to be able to respond to or to assist with, or to be a valuable source in planning. And they rely on that for us to be part of that. Jeff, you came from the municipal side.
So I came up through the municipal side. I did 27 years in the municipal side. I was explaining to Dusty earlier, it probably wasn't until the last 8 years of my career I finally realized what the sheriff's office kind of was about. So my vision when I was winding down in the municipal side was I was looking for a bigger challenge. My predecessor had a vision, and that's during those 8 years that I finally realized what the sheriff's office did. I took notice to it, and so did a lot of the other law enforcement agencies in the county. So I wanted to
continue on with his vision, and then move it along to the next level.
Sure.
So my experiences in the municipal, I was fortunate enough that I had a lot of opportunities on that end, from training to SWAT to being a detective. Was able to bring some of those experiences over into the office, especially along the training realm. You know, part of being a good law enforcement officer is you have to, one, continuously keep learning, keeping up to date with the newest trends and technology, those type of things. And luckily, I have the support of my local officials, the commissioners, to be able to fund us for a lot of things. So we were able to continue moving forward with my predecessor's vision.
Sure.
So again, it was one of those things. It wasn't until right before I decided to run for office, I had an idea of what the sheriff did and what the deputies did, but until you actually get into office and experience what they actually do, it was kind of eye-opening. I had a lot of people ask, what does the sheriff do? And I mean, of course, I knew, what the responsibilities were to the courts, serving their paperwork, the security for the county buildings, as well as the movement of the inmates to the facilities and to the proceedings. But again, there's so much more that's involved in the job.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think that's part of trying to get the education and the information out to people, and realizing what all the role of the sheriff's office has. So if you think about it, anybody that's defaulting on a credit card, they
Hundreds
get
of them.
sued.
We get hundreds.
Yeah, we get hundreds of them that we have to process. We have to open the case up on. We have to serve the paperwork and then do the return back. For anybody that is suing one person to another, whether it's over a personal property dispute, on ejecting somebody, so having somebody removed from a house, that they go through the process in the system and get an order from the judge. We go out and act on that. If it's a PFA, well, it's a PFA, so somebody has a protection from abuse order, whether it's directly or cross-filed where they each have it on each other, then are they evicted from the house? If they're evicted from the house, sometimes we get into then trying to have to explain to people, listen, yes, I understand you own the house, but right now I have to evict you because the order says this. And that's difficult sometimes to have to tell people. Taking weapons, if a PFA includes the weapon and the surrendering of it, now we're taxed with trying to figure out the safekeepings of that and logging it, keeping it logged properly, making sure that it stays in a condition, and maintaining whether or not that PFA has expired to get it returned back. A lot of people don't realize that falls on the sheriff's office. Right. The real estate sales, you're going to lose your home, you default on your mortgage payments, and the mortgage holder says, you know what, I want my house back, or I want my money. That all goes through the sheriff's office, and then sometimes we assist with the tax claim office. Sometimes they'll have us go out if someone's not paying their taxes. It's amazing that when you talk to people, when you start pointing out all these different things that we do, the license to carry, we issue all the license to carry. We issue all the license for license to sell firearms. The small, or not small games chance, I'm sorry.
Precious metals.
Precious metal
license.
Yeah, the precious metal license.
Yeah.
People don't realize all the things that are involved in that, and you need staffing there to be able to take care of not only you're serving it, they have to open the case, close the case, process the paperwork, return it. We have to have the deputies go out, make the attempts on it, or good service, so you're tracking people down, and then you get into the warrants. In some counties, most of us are all carrying thousands of warrants. And trying to keep up with the diligence of that, and making sure that they stay fresh, or what's been removed, and working with whether or not somebody vacated a warrant and didn't tell you, and you're not putting somebody in jail that a warrant wasn't actually valid. We did it on what we believed was to be proper and right.
In regards to the role that the sheriff's office has, some of the things that we do, I wanted to bring up canines.
Sure.
You know, and I don't know that anybody here is willing to talk about that, but I think that's an important part of the support services that we
Sure.
provide as a sheriff's office.
We, same with us.
I'm willing.
Yeah.
And our drone program,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say all technology, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, being on the cusp of the newest technology is critical for us because it reduces staff hours on things and it increases efficiency and effectiveness in the community
Sure.
for our primary missions.
Yeah, so we've got three canines, canines with three deputies that handle those canines. We've got a drug dog. That drug dog is constantly being called out to be used for local police departments, sometimes the state police. He's very proficient at what he does, and I'm talking about the handler, not just the canine right now. We've also got an explosives dog, being close to Allegheny County and Pittsburgh, especially this past year with presidential candidates coming in and out of our area. That canine, that explosive canine was used really, really consistently and a whole lot, but he's called out. That's some of the support services.
One thing you touched on, and I use big anymore with warrants, and I know you do, is social media.
Yes.
I mean, I do a release every Friday. Actually, some of my office does it, but we go through warrants. I did it this morning before I come here. We look at the warrants, obviously make sure, because some of them get missed or they're vacated, and it's really helped us. I mean, you put that out there and thousands of people see it. I mean, we have thousands of people who follow our Facebook page, and it's amazing the tips you can have. We can post that, and there's times within an hour already had the person picked up that we didn't even know where they were.
Yep.
Or checked their address, got new address, and like I said, within an hour.
We just got that yesterday. We had a lady message us on the tip line and gave us some what we believe is credible information on a bank robbery that occurred up in Tioga County for the suspect, which, again, it goes back to the trust. She trusted us with this information. We're not even the investigating agency. That's the state police. So she entrusted us in us to get
Sure.
that information to where it needed to go. But that, that's huge when we have that rapport with the citizens of our counties.
That's right.
I
It's
notice
amazing.
that a lot. People I schedule meetings all the time. They want to come sit with you, and they'll tell you, I don't want to talk to the police, or I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to talk to this person.
I get that a lot.
Yep, that
Absolutely.
rapport is huge. And I think across 67 counties, as we go to the different meetings and conferences, and nowadays with Zoom meetings and so on, and you hear that. You hear that where every county is facing that. They're facing the constituents that want to come in and they just want that minute. They just want somebody to listen to, and they know they put you there, and in their mind, and you have them say it all the time, you're my sheriff.
That's right.
They trust you for that, and that's they want to come back and give you that information. They're like, well, you need to talk to so-and-so. Well, I want to tell you. Can you tell them? I can, but then you have to kind of redirect them to get where it needs to be.
I found that I was a go-between.
Yeah.
So-
And to the hours, the nice thing about us as sheriffs is we set those hours.
Right.
So when people say, well, you don't work nights and weekends, well, that's not true, because we do.
Yes.
We don't have to. We
Right.
set those hours, unlike maybe a municipal or state entity. But I don't know how many times the four of us here have been out on a weekend or a night.
That still happens.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, that's community programs, which is fantastic, because that's when they run. Generally, your Saturdays and stuff where we're doing events, where are we? We're on board. Another example is this year, unfortunately, we were subjected to flooding.
Yes. Yeah.
In one of my roles, and we worked 12+ hour days. One of my roles was assisting in the Emergency Operations Center and then the command post out on site. And it was a real eye-opener for the public, like, wow, our sheriff is out here with us, and I'm handing out items, whether they need diapers or paper towels or cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
Right.
We're there doing that. That's one thing that we provide for our public.
And the community recognizes that when our officers step up, in a time of crisis, in a time of need, they know our office is stepping forward to lend support and assistance to whoever needs it. If the community needs it, if it's another law enforcement agency, if it's fire and EMS, we go to a lot of those calls. And there are the things I think the community starts seeing that how well-rounded our office is and how much of a support network it is.
I have a search and rescue team, and it's all volunteers, but I have a deputy. It's ran through me. I'm in charge of it, and the same thing. I mean, we have a drone, we have dogs, and we own it there, but it's all not taxpayer money. They fundraise and make it all, but it's under the sheriff's department. So we were just out on a search over the weekend. And, successful, found the guy on a ski resort that wandered off. So it's very positive. But like I said, I mean, our drone now is $50,000 that we raised because it has infrared on it, it has spotlights, and they didn't go miles away. So
They're kind of a catch-all for everyone.
Yes. Yes.